Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Today we'll learn about the internal genital organs in female. There are four internal genital organs. There are vagina, uterus, ovaries and fallopian tube. First, we saw about vagina. Vagina, it is a kernel made of muscular walls. Here we see, and it is a fibromuscular tube about 4 to 6 inch and 8 to 12 centimeter. And it is extended from the vaginal orifice in vestibule below to the cervix of the uterus above. Here you see that labia minus is the bottom and external orifice is the cervix of the uterus above. And the vagina is lined by a thin skin which is thrown into a number of folds, and a small projection is a small projection of the vagina above the outer surface of cervix of the uterus is called as fornix. And in this pic, we see the fornix, lateral fornix. It is located in here. Next, this is vagina, and next we see about the uterus. Uterus is a hollow muscular organ, and it's situated in the pelvis. A pear-shaped organ about 6 inches long and 2 inches across. It has diameter of 1 inch, and it is covered by peritoneum and lies between the bladder in front and rectum behind. And we see that in this pic here, uh, the red color, this is bladder and this is rectum. Okay, then the uterus has three parts, and fundus, body and cervix. Here, the top fundus is the upper part which lies above the two opening of fallopian tube. The body is the part which lies between the fundus and cervix. Cervix is a lower contracted part. The cervix is continuous above with the body of the uterus through an orifice called internal orifice, and it is continuous below with the vagina through external orifice. In this pic, we see that internal orifice, and this is internal orifice and this is external orifice. And fallopian tubes are attached on either sides of fundus of uterus. And uterus consists of two ligaments. The uterus is supported and held in position by means of two ligaments. They are two broad ligaments and two round ligaments. We see that in this pic. The yellow color in here, in that yellow color layer is called broad ligament, and the broad ligament which are folds of peritoneum. The yellow color, the whole yellow color tissue is called peritoneum. They extend between the sides of uterus and the pelvic wall. The layers of broad ligaments contains fallopian tube, round ligament, blood vessels, nerves, and lymphatic. We can see here the yellow color layer. See this in the upper part, the fallopian tube is inside, and here the round ligaments are present inside that peritoneum layer, and two round ligaments which extended from the uterus to labia majora. And the walls of the uterus are thick and consist of three layers. Here we see the walls of uterus. Outer peritoneal layer called perimetrium, and the middle muscular layer called myometrium, and inner mucous layer called endometrium. And and functions of uterus. The function plays an active part in menstruation, receives the fertilized ovum, and retain it during pregnancy. From this ovum, from this ovary, the ovum is released, expels the fetus by contraction of its muscular wall, and during pregnancy, uh, the egg is inside the uterus. When the labor is started, the uterus is rupture its tissue. The pregnancy occurs in the uterus and ovaries. Each ovaries is about 2 to 4 centimeter in length. This is ovary, and the ovaries are 2 in number. They lies on the either side of the uterus. Here we see 2 fallopian tubes, and below to the fallopian tube 2 ovaries are present. A fold of peritoneum attach the ovaries to posterior aspect of broad ligament, and the ovaries lies below to the fallopian tube of each side. Here, the ovaries contains a central soft tissue called stroma and the outer surface called germinal epithelium. The germinal epithelium contains the graphene follicle. The graphene follicle contains the ova. The ova are surrounded by fluid called liquor follicle, and the ovulation occurred due to the rupture of the graphene follicle. And carpus luteum is a graphene follicle which has liberated its ova, and the ovulation occurs in the ovaries. And the function of the ovary is formation, development, and liberation of ova, and secretion of estrogen by graphene follicle, and secretion of progesterone by carpus luteum. These two are projected when the menstruation started. And fallopian tubes. Fallopian tubes are otherwise called uterine tubes or oviduct. The fallopian tubes are 2 in number. They arise one on each side from the upper angle of uterus, and they lies in the upper margin of broad ligament of uterus. Here, the fallopian tube has an uterine end, an ambula, and a fibril end. The first, the uterine end. Here it is colored as yellow. The uterine end is attached to the walls of uterus. The opening at this end continues with the cavity of uterus. The ambula is a slight enlargement near the fibril end. Here the ambula is colored in green color. It is lies between the uterine end and the fibril end. And the third part is fibril end. The terminal portion of the fallopian tube is called a fibril end, and this end has finger-like process. It is called a fimbrium, and the fimbrium is colored in blue color. And the fimbrium has an opening which give access to the peritoneal cavity. Due to this peritoneal cavity, uh, when the ovum is passing through the fallopian tube to the uterus. And the fallopian tube also consists of 3 layers: the outer peritoneal layer, and middle muscular layer, and inner mucous layer. Here, the function of fallopian tube. The fallopian tube acts as a passage for ova from the ovary to uterus, and usually the fertilization of ovum by spermatozoa occurs in the fallopian tube. And these are my topic. This pictures show the 4 internal genital organs. Thank you for listening patiently. Thank you.